we're gonna start working on today is Darce. So that can be confusing sometimes in the heat of the moment.
You're
so
good.
we wanna learn the correct positioning and mechanics of it so you guys can not have to think about it and you know what to do. Darce is basically an arm in rear naked choke, right? So if we're doing a rear naked choke on someone, what are we doing? We're coming under, we're grabbing our bicep, we're feeding this around the back, okay? Both of our arms are engaged, okay? So that's very important that you're gonna see for this submission is that we wanna have both arms engaged at all times. Whether we can get this high on our arm or not, I'm gonna show you how it works. So there's no excuse for this choke for you to say that your arms aren't long enough. We're gonna show you how you can always hit it, okay? So the first thing we wanna do is go ahead and spin around for me, is figure out our body positioning, okay? So we're gonna show it from this position here because it's the easiest to demonstrate, okay? And you're always gonna end up here at the end of your darces most of the time anyway. So what we wanna do is I wanna look for a certain connection. And that connection is, right now, is Dust's ear to his shoulder. Anytime his arm comes here in front of him, okay, whether he was, you know, we had him in half guard or anything else, he had his arm up, or wherever the situation is, you'll see this connection form. And the reason this connection is important is because we're taking his shoulder, compressing it into the carotid artery on that side of his neck to form half of our blood choke, right? So that is a very integral part of this choke, and a lot of times people don't get this pressure here right, okay? So our first thing in our body positioning is we're going to go ahead and have Mike's arm across our knees. Take our right arm, I'm going to turn my body, okay? Turn my body, and we're going to shoot this through. When I shoot it through, I'm collecting his head and holding it tight. As I collect it, I'm coming up here on him and I'm sprawling out like this. I have all my pressure from my sternum right here on the outside of his shoulder. When we have this position, it won't be so important today because we won't be going over those submissions, but you need to be able to operate from this position around him. So what I mean is you need to be able to move around him and keep that position, okay? And your opponent should feel that pressure all the way around. So the first thing I want to do, I know it seems simple, but I want you guys to get this position, right? So I want you to go ahead, get his arm across, turn your body, shoot through and collect the head, and we're going to come up on that shoulder, and we're going to sprawl out. And I want you guys to work around and maintain your balance and your pressure through your opponent, keeping that shoulder pressing into his carotid, okay? So grab a partner, let's work that for a second, and we'll come back to this. 1, 2, 3. So now, what we're gonna do is this. We did body positioning, right? Now let's do hand positioning. So, we've got this across, we've shot through, we've collected the head. Okay, we're up on it. So, I'm leaning in here. The next thing is, we want to start putting our hands in a position for us to get this choke. So, we're gonna take the back of our forearm and put it behind the ridge on the back of his head, okay? This ridge in his occiput. So we're gonna come down and we're gonna gable grip our hands, okay? Either that or S grip, okay? Gable grip is more efficient. So this, even if Mike tries to push back against this, he's not going to. I'm gonna take him down. This really secures this position. So we're here, I'm pulling his head down to his waist, right? Now when I do this, it also opens up a little more space for us. We can even shoot through a little deeper, right? So now look how far I am. We're here, gable gripped in. I'm not gonna take my hand off the arm off the back of his neck. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this down to the floor, if I can, and I wanna grab, ideally, my tricep. Some people say grab bicep. It's not bad, but ask him if I grab my tricep, how much tighter it is. He's tapping that, right? So, if we can grab our tricep, perfect. Like I said at the beginning, both hands need to be engaged. It's not just sitting here on the floor. As high as you can reach, whether it's all the way over the back or here, you got to be coming up to his back. Make it your best effort, right? So now we're here. So what I want you to do now is work on with your partner, figuring out your pressures, right? Let them feel the difference, have you feel the difference when you're here, okay? Gable gripping in, collapsing the head, getting a little farther through. We're shaving down the back of his head to the floor. Try grabbing your bicep instead, okay? See how the difference for them. Try to get you to a tricep. Regardless, when we get here, we're gonna go ahead, engage this arm on its back as high as we can go. Then we'll move on to the next step after. That's where I want you to get for now, okay? 1, 2, 3. So, once again, body positioning, cross, shoulder to ear connection. We're shooting through, collecting the head, coming up with our sternum on the outside of his shoulder. Gable gripping, pulling down, shaving his head, getting this grip here, okay, on his bicep, or my bicep or tricep. Engaging this hand. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my hips to the floor. Boom, let's tighten this down more. Now, hands, hips to the floor, turn to your outside hip, here. Now, let's spin legs. Once we're here, we wanna go ahead, you might finish it here even, right? Just tuck in and squeeze this time. But ideally, you wanna trap a leg, okay? Not allowing his legs to move allows him to come back up into it, try to get out of this, right? So, you can trap the bottom leg, pull it towards you, top leg if you can, pull it towards you, step over, here, okay? Now, what I want you to do for this, get into that position where you're sprawling to the floor, right? After you have this set, turn to your hip, capture a leg, okay? And then squeeze in and finish, okay? See the different pressures of capturing a leg, not capturing a leg. See if your opponent can escape or move towards you if you don't capture a leg, okay? So let's go ahead and try that. 1, 2, 3. People who are actually have T-Rex arms and or very broad shoulder opponent, maybe a heavyweight you're going against and you're smaller, okay? Or you just have short arms. So once again, we're in the same position, okay? We go ahead, body positioning, arm across. Grab the head, putting pressure on the outside of that shoulder, right? Get our grip. Pull in. For whatever reason, see, now I'm gonna have to fake it on Dust, but we can't get our hand to our bicep or tricep, right? It's not gonna happen. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go ahead and so pull them in, and we're gonna slide down and get as far as we can get, okay? So let's say it's just above your wrist. That's fine, as long as you're above your hand, between your hand and your elbow, anywhere, you're good, okay? Go ahead, get as deep as you can. Say we're on our wrist right here. Now, you still want to engage this other hand. So we're gonna get it as high as we can. If it's just here, it's just here, okay? Now, with this choke, now it's a little bit different. Before, when we're through, and we have it here, and we engage, and we fall to the ground, and we go to our side, you see how we turn to our side? That brings his head in, right? Closes all that space down. When you're doing this short arm here, that doesn't happen when you fall to your side. So you gotta create that yourself. So with this here, if you look, our forearm's still on the back of his head. So we're gonna go ahead and crunch in with our forearm. We're pulling in, boom, closing that space. Now we sprawl, or teeth tapping, right? We sprawl to the ground, okay? Same thing, so our head, boom, and then capture a leg and finish it. So just try that short arm one real quick. See how different it feels if your opponents think it's just as tight as the other one or not, okay? 1, 2, 3. You know, you can utilize them if you feel like it's helpful for you instead of trying to grab your arm and stuff, right? So once again, we're here. You go ahead and get his arm across, shoot through, collect the head, come up, and we're here. So same thing to begin with, tie him down. And as I shoot through, instead of grabbing my bicep, I just grab the material on the inside of my gi. That's my bicep grip, right? Still engaged, right? He's already tapping. You feel like that's tighter than, yeah, so it'll be even tighter initially, grabbing that, okay? So the other way, basically the short arm version of what we just did with your gi is here, right, we're up, we got his head collected, shot through, I can't reach, so I go ahead and go inside my gi, like I'm gonna do an Ezekiel choke, right? So inside here, same thing, look where our arm is, it's right on the back of his head again, right? Engage, press in, and keep that Ezekiel grip, okay? Now we're going to the ground, and we turn, and we finish, right? If you want to get really fancy, you can try all three. Same thing, we're here, we're through. We got our Ezekiel grip, right? So, we got him pulled in. I'm gonna go ahead and feed this over like an Ezekiel. I'm gonna come over the side of his neck, if I can reach it, hold on. Here, right? Now we have this Ezekiel grip, to the floor, to our hip, boom, that's over. So with that, you're gonna go ahead and have, and as you're coming through, same as Ezekiel, chopping down and pulling. boom, and it's even tighter because your hips are getting involved, taking you to the floor with all that weight. So one more time, we're here. Go through, right? You can go ahead, come up and get that bicep grip, okay? Bam, to the side, like the leg. Or if we can't reach our bicep, tricep, come inside, our own gi, grab, keep that pressure on the back of his head that we collected up to his back, okay? We're gonna squeeze in, okay? And then that's that. Or, I said, you'd come through, feet onto the other side of his neck, to the floor, and we tap, okay? So let's try those. D variations, and then we'll go from there. 1, 2, 3. All right, so when we go ahead and get this on mic here, we trap, come in, shave, get it, right? So we sprawl down, go to our side, and we say we trap this top leg, okay? For some reason, he's super tough and he's still not tapping, okay? He's just like, no, not gonna happen, okay? So what I can do is, I can do a rollover Darce right from here, right? Which makes it extremely tight. So what I'll do is I want to look away towards his head and I want to roll over my shoulder closest to him, so my right shoulder. Right? So I come, I look away, and I roll over here. Now we're here. When you get to this position, you'll feel a lot of pressure on the front of the back of your forearm. You lose, which just means you have more space. So then you can shoot deeper, right? And now we engage and we can walk it in, okay? So one more time. We're here. Shoot him, come up, right? Collect that head, shake down, get our grip. Floor, to our hip, collect this leg, pull it towards us. We're gonna go ahead and look away. I'm gonna roll over this shoulder. And now we're here. Try that one a couple times, and we'll move on to the half guard Darce, okay? 1, 2, 3. Like I said, this choke can be hit from so many places as long as you can see that entry happening, okay? So we'll go to half guard. So Mike's got me in half guard. This is a place where, like, if you can get that shoulder to ear connection available, 99% of the time you're gonna finish it if you're good at executing the Darce, right? So in this position, most people typically give us our entries, right? So the first one is, you know, when you start learning this position, when you start coming, like everybody says, hey, you know, you need to get the underhook, okay? Well, we're gonna use that underhook to his disadvantage, okay? It's all about capitalizing on your opportunities. So we're here, and Mike comes up and gets that underhook, okay? So what I wanna do is, I wanna hit him with a real strong whizzer, right? Boom, okay? I'm gonna hit him with that. I'm gonna push him down. I'm gonna grab this Kimura grip here, do a quarter Nelson, hold his head. Now, I can force him to the ground. Okay. Now that he's to the ground, I can collect his head, gable grip, pull in, shave down, to our, he's already tapping, right? Same situation. I'm gonna let go a little bit, but in the end, we'll go ahead, sprawl out, and turn to our hip if you don't got it yet, okay? Some people, like I was doing this earlier on double A, he's so wide, and because of the way he has this underhook, this might be a hard choke. So this might be a good position to do that short arm one, okay? Or the Ezekiel variation over the inside of our gi to lock it down. Just because the space here is not as big because of the underhook still here. We can still hit it when he has the underhook, okay? So one more time, we're here, he comes up, hit him with that, okay? Quarter Nelson, I come in and I come up and I'm putting pressure on his shoulder like before, our sternum, collect his head, gable grip in, shave down, come, and here. And we hit it, okay? So let's try that one. Let him have it a few times, then work with a little resistance with your underhook, okay? Make him work for it, see what it's actually like to try to get that, okay? So once again, whizzer, quarter Nelson, pin him to the floor, get your pressure up, okay? Collect the head, slide down, across the back, finish your Darce. 1, 2, 3. In this position, well, first thing is I want to say is you don't have to fish for that leg once you sprawl or go to your hip because it's already trapped, right? So that's one of the beauties of it. So Mike comes up and gets an underhook, right? So he's here. I feel my whizzer, I get this, and I'm pressing down. I can't get him down, whatever's going on. We're either gonna break his arm or he's gonna give us that shoulder to ear connection, right? So I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna come here. When I do this, I'm gonna spin around so you guys can see. I want his wrist and hand down by my hip, right? So as I come up here, I'm gonna shimmy my hips down so that it's down farther. Now we have this pressure on my hip, and all I do is shoulder in and pull, and either he's gonna get armbarred or he's gonna swim his arm through, back under. Now what do we have? Collect the head, shave down, grab, right? Sprawl, and we got our Darce. So either he's getting armbarred or he's giving us our Darce, right? So one time we're here, in, down, I'm coming up, okay? Now, I've got the pressure on him, I'm turning out, let him shoot it through, collect his head, in, down, sprawl to the side, and get our choke, okay? Any questions on that one? Okay, guess all you're doing is, you're sliding his hand down the outside of your hip, okay? You're creating that arm bar level, like a shotgun arm bar from guard, right? So we're here, as we have our grip, we're turning in, creating so much pressure across the elbow, it's gonna snap or dislocate. So he's gonna wanna try to swim it through, or he's gonna tap there. Either way, we're gonna get a tap. So let's try that one. 1, 2, 3. I'm saying, when I'm working my hips out, what I'm doing is, you want your elbow right here, over his elbow, right, our forearm, so that when it's pressed against our hips, it's more pressure as we continue to go out. So when we have this and we're pressuring down, and I'm shimmying the hips out, I can slide my arm down here, and then he's gonna wanna push through, right? So, and then we get our Darce, okay? So you can use that to shimmy your arm down when you're moving your hips out to get forearm to elbow to put that pressure. Because if not, then he can just stay curled like that, and it's not gonna work. I mean, you'd have to really come out really far to get him here, but if you can slide this down, right, over here. So
you slide your arm past his elbow a little bit.
you kind of want your forearm blade like right at or above his elbow. Okay, I mean, closer to the elbow the better. Okay, right above it creates the most breaking pressure. So that's what we want there. Next one, real quick. So we're here. What else do they do from half guard? They try to frame up. Okay, so he goes ahead and throws his frame across my shoulders. He's in here. Now he's already got the position for us. We can reach up and arm drag him across if you want to. That might not work. You might be pressing too hard. You might be grabbing my gi if I'm wearing one, right? So what you can do is, if we're here, you can move your shoulder in, right? Get my shoulder shrugged down, and it's gonna break that off. Now this works not only for this, you know, anytime somebody's framed on you can break them down. So once we do that, and we're here, we break it down, now we can come up, collect his head, pressure down through our shoulder again, boom, 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 and finish it, right? Little things that, they seem simple, but oftentimes you don't see them until you start thinking about actually doing that move, right? So if somebody's framed up, break it across, our shoulder to ear connection's there, and we got it, okay? I know we only have a few minutes left before we roll, so remember that one, and we're gonna do one more. So Evan, come here real quick. So another thing that can happen is, same thing as if we're in here, he has a knee shield in his frame. It's often a lot of pressure against us, right? Like we can't beat that knee shield, we're trying to pass or whatever. Still the same scenario. I'm just saying, if somebody throws a knee shield on you, don't let it think it's gonna stop you from doing your Darce, right? Because you can still, here, collect the head, shave, grab, collapse, get it. Now, when Evan's here, us leg lock dudes, he's locked up here, a lot of times, they'll do things where they're trying to enter a different kind of guard, or they're trying to get a leg that it's submitting with. He might come under here, my leg, and go and clasp here. What do we have? Same thing. You can almost bait him to let him have it. As soon as you see his arms cross and his hands clasp, you're shooting through it and we're already in the perfect spot. Just collect it in, boom, and sprawl. When you sprawl, typically you'll break his grip. You have to fight it a little bit, it's okay. So try that. We're gonna try both those. This one more time. He's in here, he comes under, tries to grab, collect, shoot, sprawl out, okay? And get our Darce. Let's try those two, and then we'll move on to some rolls. 1, 2, 3.